whatever it is.
Good evening. I call to order the City Council of Lathrop Village for January 22nd. And I would ask that the clerk would do a roll call.
Roll call. Mayor Garrett.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Cantor.
Present.
Councilmember Brock.
Present?
Councilmember Ferguson.
Present.
Councilmember Stallings. Present. Madam Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. I invite everyone to join in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Somebody always has that. I would take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Okay, so now the council will review and consider the approval of the disbursement reports and investments. The first one is going to be from, sorry, my page was not there yet. First one is from December 1st to December 15th in the total amount of $50,290.20. And the second one is from, maybe I should start printing these up.
16th to the 31st.
Thank you. The 16th through the 31st. And the total is, and I skipped it somewhere. I found it.
Bottom.
Right under it. $408,562.74. Do I have a motion for that?
I would move approval of disbursement reports.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? No discussion?
Is that on the, does that include the distribution report as well?
Yes, this
Just
is
a
all of them.
quick question, and I'm sure you have posted this before, but the water bill, do we just pay a water bill bi-yearly? On page 16, down at the bottom for $11,485, it says water bills from 6/1 to 12/1/17. That's I didn't understand what the dates meant.
I would have to look into that for you and get back with you on that.
What was the amount?
Okay.
For $11,485.
91.
Thank you.
I'll have to look at that.
I had one minor question on that one. Very minor, but the bottom of page 16, it says make a key for the signboard for $82. Was that more than just making a key?
Service.
Probably had to be rekeyed too.
Okay.
Yes, service call.
The signboard that's outside where you, it's outside?
No, in the lobby, I think. Is that the lobby one?
No, they have the lobby one.
It's in the park.
This is in the park.
Yeah, so that's where,
And then just a quick
There isn't
question.
one out there anymore, is there?
It's out by
it's near the
right before you
children's
get to
garden, is it?
the children's
Oh,
play area.
okay.
Right there.
It had to be rekeyed and a key made to
All right.
it.
The highest honor, are those keychains or what are those? The highest honor, was that an
Yeah,
award
that
given to somebody or something that's given to citizens or?
Were those the challenge coins?
No.
You got a dollar figure?
It was for,
$474.88.
yeah, 470.
Those are the keychains that we purchased with the badge on that we are passing out.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it was just a, I was curious to know if it was an award because it said highest honor.
No, it's just the
Okay.
name of the company.
Okay. Oh, okay. Thank you. That's all I had.
Any other questions?
Nope.
So, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passed. Now we'll consider the approval or acceptance of the department reports, which will be the police reports, the police report summaries, the
Ordinance.
monthly permits, the DDA director, that's,
DDA,
And then the planning
Planning
commission.
and the
Commission.
planning commission. Do I have a motion to accept those?
So moved.
Any discussion?
Well, I had something on the DDA, the Inside Out program that Lathrop Village has been selected for. First of all, I thought that was fantastic. I think I saw that in Grand Rapids where they had art pieces all over the city. And I just wanted to say that that's a really wonderful thing that we've been selected by the DIA to set up arts from August to October throughout the city. So that's something for us to be really proud of.
DIA's been doing this for several years, you know.
So when has Lathrop Village been, have we been selected for it before?
No, we have
No,
one.
we have not.
Ken, why
Okay.
don't you,
Yeah,
Ken,
So
can you
Ken,
come up here
let's-
because you just had a meeting or you went to
I think
the,
that's a big deal.
you went to the kickoff party
I did,
Tuesday night.
I did, yes. Council, Madam Mayor. I went to the kickoff party for the DIA program, the Inside Out program. We're one of several communities that have been selected. And next month, I will meet with the woman who fronts that program for the DIA. We will visit various potential sites throughout the city. We're going to try to ensure that all 4 quadrants of the community are covered with this various art. And it's just paintings. I thought maybe it would be sculpture as well, but it's
Just
paintings.
paintings.
But still, I mean, it's significant. It's pretty neat,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And this would be at no cost to the community whatsoever, no cost at all. Any other questions?
Did you get any emails from anyone, any of the residents?
I have had a handful, that's very general, make sure all the parks are covered, that nothing specific, except for the one that I shared with you regarding the bank at 12 Mile and Lathrop. Yeah.
I think it's great.
It will be great.
It's great.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Sure.
For making that.
And I can't claim credit for this, it just kind of came
It
over.
just
to me.
happened.
So a previous, and one of my predecessors actually applied for this.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
I think
Okay.
it was a couple years ago.
Well, it
Yeah.
happened on your watch.
That's
so
right,
thank
well,
you.
so
Yeah.
far, so good.
All right.
So claim all the credit you can. you know.
Well, I'll try.
We have plans to put that on the website.
Put it on the
also.
resume, yeah.
Pardon me?
We have plans to put it on the website also.
It is,
Yeah.
it is
right
now.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Anything else?
Well, I don't know. Then on this, the planning commission on
Thank you,
page
Karen.
53. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago, Bruce, about this mobile MRI truck and
Yeah.
that, make sure that the neighbors, because I told you that how my
Yeah.
neighbors complained about theirs. I just wanted to make sure that was
Yeah,
checked
it
out.
was, we talked about it at the meeting, and the petitioner indicated that the sound can barely be heard from outside of the truck. It's insulated truck, it's a sound insulated truck, so there shouldn't be any issue.
And the hours of operation are
Yeah.
good.
Okay. And he indicated the only sound you could hear, that there's an air conditioning unit on the top that you might hear.
But that would be no louder than a residential unit.
Okay, so, just wanted to be sure.
I have a question that's under other matters for discussion. When we were talking about the vehicles being moved, the ones that have the signs on the vehicles, I thought we were unsure about, so that's been confirmed now that they have to move? That they have signs on the vehicles and they're parked in the
Whether they
parking
have signs on them or not, the vehicle can't be parked in one spot overnight. That's a parking enforcement that the police department does. So they're supposed to move those. And yeah, if they have a sign, the vehicle is a sign, and it's in one location permanently, then it can be considered a sign and evaluated under our sign ordinance.
Have we done any ticketing of that?
I will have to get with Mr. Baker on that, because that's not my understanding of what the
Yeah.
ordinance.
Yeah, and I mean, I thought we had, that's why I kind of, because we had this discussion before, and I thought it was something that unless you go around and
Our hands are tied.
you
If we're
check
marking
the tires.
And then again, when you talk about moving a vehicle, what is the distance? And then are we gonna have people out there measuring how far these vehicles are moved? So again, I'm gonna defer to Scott on this, the city attorney, and we can have a discussion afterwards and for my clarification, so I can instruct our officers on, you know, where we go from here.
I know I read that they have to move them to the back. They have to park in the rear.
They're
Yeah.
supposed to move them, that's, yeah.
Supposed to move them
Move
totally.
them, yeah, and what Chief is saying is the enforcement issue. Are you gonna have somebody out there marking the tires, and have they moved them an inch, have they moved them a foot, did they move it over a spot? That's the challenge that we have with enforcing. I don't think there's nothing's changed on that,
No,
That's
and
been-
that was my understanding, so I guess it really, I'm sorry.
Voice in the
I
background.
usually have a loud voice and I can usually speak up, but I realize I'm not on camera.
We get reprimanded from up above. so
Ah, okay.
You don't take the mic.
So, yeah, I guess it really depends on what the council's flavor is with this and how diligent you want us to react. There are businesses within the city, and again, are we talking about moving 6 inches, moving a foot, moving behind the building,
Well-
or moving over a space? I mean,
I think most of us would think that if it sits in approximately the same spot constantly,
Right.
that's a sign.
Right.
okay,
And they ought to be judged on whether they're in accordance with the sign ordinance then. They've already got a sign on their building. They're probably maxed out without those vehicles. And if that's their sign, then take all the rest of it down then, I guess, and it can't be more than what we allow them.
And do we need
But the problem you have is our ordinance enforceable? And that's, I'd look to our attorney to do what you just asked, and that is, if it's got to be, the sign ordinance would need to be plain enough, I think, that it says, if that thing's there constantly, it's a sign.
well, yeah, and that's what it does say. It does say that it
And not a
can't-
sign from heaven either.
It can't
Yeah.
be permanent, so if it's on, there's nothing we can't prohibit someone from putting advertising on their car. They drive it to and from work every day, there's nothing
Right.
that prohibits us from regulating,
understand
allows
that.
us to regulate that. However, if they are leaving that vehicle sign in one spot permanently, then we can regulate it as a sign. And as the chief's saying, unless someone's gonna go out there and mark the tires to make sure it has moved or hasn't moved, that becomes the enforcement challenge in enforcing our ordinance. So how much attention does the council want the police department to pay
Then we
to these
know, right?
vehicles, and are there specific vehicles that they could look at? And I don't know if it's something that our code enforcement officer has had conversations with the owners of these vehicles, not.
and see, and I don't know that as well.
Yeah,
I
so
don't know if Jim Wright's spoken to them yet or not.
That may be the first logical place to start, is that he have a conversation with them about that, and then if it is a situation where they are there, or it appears that they haven't moved, the tires are flat, those are indicators that generally the police department will act on vehicles like that and have those removed.
Right, if it's an abandoned vehicle, if the tires weren't up, if it wasn't registered and licensed and
makes
looked to be
sense.
at least in an operational condition, then obviously we would take enforcement on that.
Well, a lot of business people believe they don't have enough signage, and that's the reason they don't get as many people coming in their door. Sometimes that might be true, but I think most of the time it has nothing to do with it, It's,
They take up all their parking spaces
I'm
with
thinking of
vehicle
Mr.
signs.
Mr. Levy up here, who's the, I think, biggest offender in town. He's got a motor home. That's a billboard.
Getting bigger.
And
And his Jeep.
I can't prove that he never drives it to work, but, what?
Does the ordinance need to be updated?
Oh,
Our
I'm
sign
sorry.
ordinance has been recently updated. It's just, like I said, the
Did it-
issue is an enforcement issue, and
Did it address trucks? Did it?
Yeah,
ad-
it does
address-
it does
okay, I'll
address-
have to reread it. I'm sure okay.
We used to get I could have swore that, and this could be fantasy, I thought we used to get a list of the code enforcement also. And I noticed that it switched to permits, not the code enforcement.
That would be good to have.
Your
because of
recollection
businesses.
is correct.
I thought so.
We
Okay,
used to
thank
get,
you.
we used to get a separate, in addition to whatever
'Cause now-
permits were, there was a listing of enforcement actions that were taken.
And it doesn't look like we have that anymore, so.
I haven't seen it for a while.
That would be good to have.
That'd be
Kelly.
awesome to get.
I think we're looking at who?
I'll ask Ken about it because Ken's the one that gives me the report.
You want to come speak to that, Ken, or you're good?
I can make a note of that. I'll
Okay.
start doing that next month.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's,
I think Jim used to produce those, but I can produce those for you.
no, Jim used to, I know who used to
Yeah.
do it, it just seems, I just realized that, what we're talking about, instead of us having a
Right.
guess, we could kind of go back and look through
Right.
the report to see. So, do you have anything else for the chief, anyone? I guess I'm the one that brought it up, I'm good.
I'm here all night.
Great. Okay, so, kind of motion has been moved. All in favor to accept the department report, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. So now I invite those who are not listed on the agenda, if you have something that you would like to address the council with, to please come forward. Okay.
That was a psych out.
Yeah, I thought I was, is there anything that anyone wants to
Address the
bring
council.
forth? No?
Okay, moving
Okay.
on.
So we don't have any zoning board, oh, no, we don't
Yes,
have.
we do.
We do?
We have a
Special
public,
assessment.
Oh, I'm sorry,
notice
yes,
of
we do, okay,
publish.
so
your
yeah, we have
public
to,
hearing.
so do we have to open we don't have to open
The public hearing has already been held, is it not?
This is our public hearing is tonight for the special assessments for
Oh,
general purposes.
okay, I'm reading the motion. So, it has
It's
not
number
been-
8 on your agenda.
8A. Okay,
I see it.
So,
so do you want to speak to
make
it?
some introductory comments as to what we're looking at.
We have sent letters out to the residents that have delinquent water bills on the list that we gave you last in December, for the council meeting in December.
Yep.
Madam Mayor and council, and today is the public hearing. We have posted it in the paper, and we have opened it up for public hearing if anybody has any comments or anything to say with that. And that's what you're, for the public hearing.
So the public hearing is open. And so
Yep.
anyone that has anything to say about the special assessment, so the water bills can come forward. I'm going to assume that's no one, so the public hearing is closed, and so we'll go into the resolution for the special assessment.
You go to the action item.
The action item, excuse me. So the council will consider a motion to adopt the resolution number 2 for special assessments. It's already, we already had it today. No.
I would offer that resolution.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Okay, for all that, is it for the, all in favor of the motion, say yay.
Yay.
Aye.
Yay and
Aye.
I'm just doing what you tell me.
I'm sorry, I just went blank for some reason. All opposed, say no. The motion carries. Okay, the city council will consider a resolution for Black History Month. I'll hand that back to our interim city manager. Or to Yvette.
Before you have a resolution in support of February being Black History Month, and we're bringing that forth for your approval tonight.
Okay. Have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the attached resolution recognizing February as Black
Support.
History Month in Lathrop Village.
Support.
Okay, is there any discussion? Yes, okay. So I have a question about that, and you might not be able to answer this, is that, I know that we do this every year, but, and I probably ask this every year, is there a certain activities that go on? Is it just going to be just, I know we have one, but if we're adopting the whole month, I'm just wondering if there's more than just one activity, but I probably am not.
What is
talking
the
to right
one? What is the one?
There's a trip that is going to the Henry Ford, I think. Museum.
So we're actually, so this year, we're actually not having anything.
We're not having anything within here, but there is a trip to go.
What is that, the Rosa?
Normally, we have, excuse me?
Is that the Rosa Parks? What is that?
No, it's I want to say it's the Henry. It's in the newsletter.
Yeah, but the Rosa Parks thing is in part of the Henry.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a part of
So,
it.
yeah.
The
Part
bus
of the
that
tour,
she-
yeah.
Okay.
stage that they can sit in.
Yeah, that's a part of that tour.
Yes, then
Yeah.
that is what they're doing this year.
And I'm sure that's probably why it's on.
Most of the time, we've had a speaker come in and do different speakers and that. This year, our Parks and Rec director decided to do a different.
Okay, so we just have one
So she
event?
did that in place. of
We've
the-
only always had one event.
Yeah.
But, right, but does that count as an event? Where they're actually going off-site?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Right.
I mean, the reason I brought it up, because that is, I mean, we adopt this resolution every year, and it is disappointing, because I know that, I didn't see anything about it. It is disappointing that we don't have an event on site for, Black History Month, and we've had it for, and I know this is just me verbalizing it, because I know you really can't do anything about it, but it's been every year, at least for the last, 10 years plus that I know of, and this will be the first year that we didn't have absolutely
Yeah,
nothing.
We've had the one-person
Mhm.
acts and things like that. But
So I'm just,
were really nice programs.
just disappointed, so that's fine.
Okay.
I verbalize it, so.
Okay.
All in favor to consider a resolution for Black History Month, say aye.
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 All opposed, motion carries. The city council will consider a motion to approve the board of review meeting dates for 2018.
Yes, Madam Mayor. The council every year we ask the council to approve the Board of Review schedule for the meeting dates for people in March to come to the board with their property tax problems or issues. If they have anything with their taxable values or anything like that, they can come to the Board of Review in March to argue those cases.
Okay,
And then in December and July are for hardship cases and for clerical errors.
okay.
For what?
Hardship cases and clerical errors for
Oh, clerical errors,
July
okay.
and December boards.
I missed your second one there, so. okay.
So
Thank
we
you.
ask that the council approve the schedule of dates for the March Board of Review and July and the December.
So do you have a motion to approve the board of review meeting?
I'll make a motion to approve the Board of Review meeting dates.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, how are these dates publicized, and are they publicized early enough?
They actually, in February, you get your notice of assessment, and they are on that notice that you get, every household gets one of
From the
those in
county?
businesses.
It comes from the county, right?
It comes from the county, Oakland County. Also, it will be on our website. We will have it posted on the board downstairs.
Okay, it'll be on the website, it'll be on our
It will be on the television
television
station.
the
yes.
website. Okay,
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure that, because sometimes when those letters come, the dates are kind of embedded, but I think if we put it on the website, television.
It will
and,
be out there.
The notice, that
Yes.
should be good.
And also, if I could, Madam Mayor, I publish this in the newspaper as well.
Okay,
Yeah, before each date.
Right.
thank you.
So, you're welcome.
Any other discussion? So all in favor of the motion to approve the board of review, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next, the city council will consider a motion to approve the second reading of an ordinance dealing with minors in possession of alcohol, which I will turn
City
to.
attorney?
This is the second reading, so last month we introduced for the first reading updates to our minor possession ordinance. This reflects changes at the state level which decriminalize the first offense for minor possession of alcohol, meaning that first offenses are now civil infractions. Subsequent, they previously were a misdemeanor conviction. State legislator has amended the state law, so it requires that our law has to be updated to be consistent with the state law.
So that's what this ordinance does. It just brings us into compliance with the current state law.
Okay.
I have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Okay, the city council will designate a representative to the Simcoe General Assembly. Back to,
Yes, Madam Mayor and Council. SEMCOG, the City of Lathrop Village is a member of SEMCOG, and they have asked us to appoint a delegate and an alternate to their General Assembly, which will meet 3 times a year.
we don't have those dates yet, right?
No, we do not.
Just 1 second. So, who would like to, so, as discussed in study session, the designated council member would be Councilwoman Donna Stallings as a delegate, and Daniel
Zuhowski.
Zuhowski
We could ask him to change that name.
as an alternate to the SIMCOG. Do I have a motion for that? Or who would like to make a motion
I
for
would
that?
move that.
Second.
It's been
The
moved.
appointment of Stallings, and I'm going to call him Danny Boy.
More work. What did he say down there?
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any
More work.
discussion? Okay. So all in favor to designate Councilwoman Donna Stallings as a delegate and Daniel Zakowski as the alternate, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Next, the city council will consider a resolution regarding the change of a street name to someone. So, I would say that would be,
I would think the mayor can do it.
the interim city administrator could too, right?
Yes.
So this
Actually, I
is,
think they're bad.
You're way in
actually
back.
it's coming from the city attorney, sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep, that's where you jump in.
it's just,
I'm looking for a pull up here. I've got the Motor Carrier Safety Act.
I did too.
it's just after that.
I was
I'm sorry.
one ahead of you.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one
I
also.
had
So,
it too.
No, it's, so.
did I
the-
jump, did I slip?
No, you
No,
did
it's out of
not.
order.
It's out of order.
That's 81.
I was saying we were rolling through this and I
Holy
messed
cow.
up.
All right, so the council has asked, and
81.
I agree, I think it's a fantastic idea. It's a way to honor Frank's service to the city for, he served as a mayor for over 23 years. We're proposing to rename the Sunset Boulevard East, which is just, it leads to the city hall. It's just north of here on the east side of Southfield Road. So it's probably doesn't even show up on most GPSs, but it is an actual street. We did.
I trust
verify
that'll
it,
be
so-
remedied then.
And we're gonna fix
Minimize it,
that.
why don't we?
Not to minimize it.
Wow.
Nice.
It's a
We
huge
tried to get
street.
them to rename Southfield, but
Yes.
they told us to look at Sunset. So
We're gonna open it up to go
So-
straight
Yeah,
to,
right through.
yeah.
Make it a,
So the
I'm waiting
council,
for-
the council has
Greenfield.
asked that that roadway be renamed to Frank Brock Way in honor of his years of service, recognition of his dedication and service to the city, dedicated public servant. So that this resolution, I don't know if, Madam Mayor, you want to read through it, or would you like me to read through it? But this resolution accomplishes that goal, and it will be forwarded on to Oakland County Road Commission for official renaming, but the city can order the street signs tomorrow.
But we can order the street signs.
Yeah, they're going to tell us to order them anyway, so.
And then we'll have an actual date to go out there to unveil it.
Cut the ribbon.
It's gonna be sunny outside when we do that.
would,
Right.
I'm gonna show it's
just
raining and
just a
snowing.
clarification, seeing as how I'm named in this thing,
Well, I would be honored.
disqualified from voting on
We
it?
probably shouldn't be the one that does it.
I would be honored to approve this.
Oh, you would.
To approve the resolution, changing the street name from Sunset Boulevard to Frank Brock Way.
And that should actually be Frank Brock Jr. Way.
No, we don't. No.
He asked that it not be Junior Way.
We asked him and he
Yeah,
said no.
that's Frank Brock Way.
Okay,
Second.
so it's been moved and seconded. All in favor to consider resolution regarding the change of a street name, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. You have a
Thank you.
street.
Thank you very much.
You can build a house on your street.
Can I get the property on both sides of it? As long as you're going to give it away, I might as well go whole hog.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, it's going to be now the consideration to approve the first reading of an ordinance adding the motor carrier. Am I on the right one now?
Yeah, this is
Safety
the,
Act?
the Motor Carrier Safety Act. Last year, the police department had an officer trained in Motor Carrier Safety Act enforcement. And so it's appropriate now that the city adopt a local ordinance. So it's adopting the state law as a local ordinance. This officer can now write tickets under the local ordinance. So this is, again, this is a tool for public safety. It focuses primarily on commercial vehicles and making sure that they have the appropriate safety equipment, proper weights. The overweight trucks are probably the #1 cause for the early degradation of our roadways. So this is just another tool that the police department has in enforcing those ordinances within Lathrop Village.
Did you want to add anything extra, Chief?
I guess so.
Just briefly,
We do have someone trained right now as a commercial motor vehicle officer. He does occasionally stop trucks and cites them. Currently, we're writing any type of citation under state law, and it does not allow any fines to be recouped by the city. So by doing it as a local ordinance, it does allow us, if those citations are written, that we do, as a city, recoup at least a portion of those fines. So.
Thank you.
Very good. So, do I have a motion for that?
I would move to approve the first reading of Chapter 47, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera,
Second.
without reading it all verbatim.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Okay, it's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries. Now, the next one, City Attorney, I'm going to defer to you because it doesn't need to be, because it's totally slipped my mind whether or not we made a decision on what we were going to do with the last one during study session.
Yeah, as long as the items that currently on the table, if council wished to remove it from the table, they'd require a motion to do that. And then if there was a motion to either move it forward or not to move it forward, then the item would come off the agenda. But as long as it's a tabled item, it should appear on the agenda until such time it's no longer on the table.
So, the reason why I was thinking that it needed just to be taken off,
Is what?
the reason
Taken off.
why I was saying that it needs to just be taken off is
Yeah.
because it's not, so,
It won't
I
be
would,
addressed.
I would move we remove this item from the table.
I second.
okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Yeah, it would never get addressed until we.
Because
Yeah.
why?
Well, we're making
Well,
an
I think-
official statement today regarding the,
Absolutely.
I think the discussion on this is just limited to taking it off the table,
Yeah,
and
just
then you
take it
can
off the
discuss
table.
the item.
Okay, so then I'll say it afterwards, but okay, so is there any discussion
Okay.
about just the taking it off the table?
yeah, well, yeah, taking it off the table for obvious reasons, it will not get closed in a timely manner.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded.
Yes.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. So now it's completely taken off.
So-
Oh my God.
No, it's
taken
it's
off.
on the, it's off the table.
It's off the table, it's on the
Okay, so
agenda.
Now it's, now we have to do something
So
with
now
it.
is this where we need to,
I make a motion
Just
to
remove
take it off the agenda.
Well, the motion, the requested
not.
motion is to purchase, so I think the suggested motion would be not to purchase
Yes.
Not to
the
purchase.
Civic
right.
Plus Recreation, and
Yes.
then you can explain
now you can,
during
Okay.
discussion
When
why you're turning down that.
I make a motion not to purchase.
do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes. The reason why we have taken it off the agenda, and actually making a motion to take it off the agenda is that Trina Van Ark, our current Parks and Recreation Coordinator, has submitted her resignation today. So more than likely, we probably would not get to a point where we could actually have resolutions. So that is the reason why we've taken it off.
The other point, though, is that we already have something in place, correct?
We do,
That-
with some flaws.
With some
but,
flaws,
yeah.
so it's not like we don't have anything,
Yeah.
but,
It's just the fact that
So-
no one can support
yeah,
going forward, why
Yeah.
we should get
that's
this.
true.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. City administrator.
Well, no, the-
Nope,
Yeah.
sorry.
you gotta have
Sorry,
a
I-
vote on
yep,
the motion
just give me a
to
second.
not
As you see, I was
purchase
just- yeah.
them.
Okay, so, do I have a motion for, we already said the discussion, so, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Now, city administrator, do you have anything that you would like to give us information on?
No, the only thing is I have to remind council that on Saturday at 9 o'clock, there is a training session. On January 27th. I forgot to remind you that in the study session. That was the only thing I have.
And that training is from 9?
9 to noon.
Also, the homeowners association is having their
Pancake
community
breakfast.
pancake breakfast that morning at 9 o'clock. So come and have a pancake, and then
So should we move it to 9:30?
we will have our meeting.
So, the idea,
Start about 9:30.
is that we will go to the pancake breakfast first, and then, you know, we will start, because I think roles and responsibility really shouldn't be, because we're also we're gonna work on our procedures or the,
Yeah, I think that's the plan, is just to kind of talk about some of the current standing resolutions and procedures for council, and if there's any need for updating those.
Okay.
I don't have the programming that Jill Boehm is doing that, so
Okay.
I'm not certain how long has it planned, but
I thought you were doing the, looking over the procedures. for-
yeah, that part, but
Yeah.
the roles and responsibility is Jill's.
All right. I don't think it's gonna take that long, but
Right.
No, I don't think
we
so.
should be able to grasp it pretty fast, of what our roles and responsibilities are, right?
Well, in light of the current resignation, should we also include the org chart, a revised org chart?
No, we set a date for the administrator.
This
to
is,
bring
this
it
is
to
really
us.
focused on the
It's
roles
our
and responsibilities
roles,
of council.
period.
So,
Our
yeah,
roles.
it's
Yeah.
where every,
Okay.
every board, and I shouldn't say, well, board and commission, every board and commission is going to go through roles and responsibilities, so everybody's very clear on what their roles are and what their responsibilities are according to our charter, first and foremost. And then the goal is sometime in March or April that we will all boards will get together to be able to start working on a strategic plan, so we all understand what we do. And I know that was all under city administrator.
Yep.
That's fine.
Very good.
She was a lot more talkative than we thought, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. City attorney, do you have anything for us?
Nothing more than we just talked about.
Can I ask a couple of questions to you?
Sure.
I just thought about it. I know that there's been some issues in cities with the, what do you call the R&B? What is the when you use your house as a hotel?
Oh, Airbnb.
Airbnb. I don't know if we have, and there's been some problems, I know, in the neighborhood because there are no ordinances. I don't think we've talked about what we would want to do in Lathrop Village. There's some cities that are doing it, and city councils are now putting ordinance out against it or for it. So the Airbnbs, and also, I'm concerned about, I know we have a marijuana team, marijuana committee, but I'm concerned too that we're kind of open for there to be some marijuana selling or whatever.
Actually,
No,
Actually
actually
not.
not.
Not
at all.
legally, at least.
Not legally.
Not at all.
Okay,
'Cause
so,
we didn't
so in Detroit, because there was no ordinance, and because there was nothing in place, there were businesses that opened, and then they had to go back and vote on it. So this is just a
Michigan
concern.
Michigan law, as I understand, it's very clear, that is that the city must
Opt
opt in.
Or out.
If you're out, you don't have to do anything.
Right.
So for like, the best way to
Detroit
say for
was-
Detroit is like they're trying to close a barn door after the,
Well, they opened it at one point in
Yeah.
time. They
So-
opened the barn door and allowed for it, and then prior to this legislation coming out, and then they
try to close it.
try to close the barn door and get all the horses back in.
Yeah.
And then do it under the current state law. We have never permitted it. It's always been, it was prohibited prior to the court striking down our ordinance that prohibited it. And then the legislature saying now that cities have to, as Frank had indicated, the cities have to opt in. And if they don't opt in by default, an applicant can apply for a license in Lathrop Village because there aren't any available. So no businesses will, no marijuana dispensaries will be opening up in Lathrop until such time that, or if Lathrop should choose to opt in and allow for
Okay.
them.
Well, I just wanted that said, because, and we should all, be able to say the same thing, because,
Yeah, no,
it's getting-
it can't take place.
okay.
Yeah, I
Thank
believe
you.
we're lining up.
As far as the Airbnb
It differs from,
Wait.
if I could just interject,
Yeah.
it differs from the old methods that dealt with liquor licenses and beer and wine licenses, that the cities, that there is a precedent for those things being in cities. So the Michigan law that sets this up specifically allow a city to make the choice, whether they're going to opt in or just stay
Okay.
out of it.
And I believe we were working on lining up people
So
to talk to us
the
and educate us on
idea
the issue.
is that we will have someone that's pro and con, so everyone has a idea of what's going on. I think we also were talking about trying to do some type of community event
Yeah.
to talk about
We
it.
talked about that.
So, right now, from what I understand, it's
Bring some,
Ferndale, Royal Oak, Sterling Heights, and Hazel Park have all, that's the only ones I can think of
I
off the
think
top of my
East
head.
Point,
have
may have
opted in.
In our area.
East Point,
In our- yeah.
in our area, yeah, it's just Ferndale and,
Ferndale, Royal Oak, Hazel Park,
yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So, and we don't have to do anything. And then we don't know what's going to happen in November, whether or not all of this might be a moot point anyway. So,
Right.
now,
Well,
about
that's
Aaron.
true, but I just wanted us to have the discussion, but that is true, so.
And
So
then,
regarding the Airbnb,
yeah,
um,
that's interesting.
doesn't our rental, our ordinances for renting cover the Airbnb?
That was what I was just starting to say, was that our current ordinance regulates rental properties, long-term rental properties. I don't believe this would fall under, because it's more of a short term with the Airbnb, so it would be something that would require some modification if you wanted to regulate those types of
What's the downfall
Rentals.
right now? I mean, I don't know of
And my
any.
question is, how could we really
Do we
regulate
know
that?
of any?
Yeah.
It's simply,
people
Ken
for
could probably
people
speak to it
that
right
you-
now as far as
Right.
what our rental properties,
Yeah.
That's one I
they
can
are
think of.
required to
Yeah,
have,
yeah.
a city has a registry, you're required to register with the city if you have a rental property.
But I'm just saying, how could someone say this is an Airbnb opposed to I'm going out of town for a week and I have my sister and her
Well,
family
that-
staying at my
again,
house? So how
that's-
do
I mean,
you,
you're doing it, you're not charging your sister if she stays at your house.
some people?
Well, you might.
She might.
We may
Well,
we might
yeah.
require you to register, but I have heard some
If I had his sister, I would.
communities that are regulating these because they have
Yeah.
and it's a large number of them, and so people are not, you're having a tax issue, I think is why they're doing it. I haven't heard of problems or disruptions, but
Yeah, I know one area that did it, and if it's a true Airbnb, you do know because it's on the Airbnb website. And I know one area that started doing it so much that they did put an ordinance out. It's big money.
yeah, well, I think it's
It's
a
big
lot
ways
of
of
cities
business.
make a
And
fair amount of revenue off hotel taxes.
Right.
These Airbnbs are not,
Right.
you're not paying those, and so that's,
Yeah.
my understanding is that's why some communities are regulating. I don't know if in Lathrop we'd have enough that would make sense, but if it's an issue, something that, a safety issue, if people are renting out properties that are not inspected, not up to code, then maybe that would be a reason to look into it. But
I mean, I've heard of this, it's especially if you have an association. I've heard of associations that are saying you cannot do this. It's spelled out in an association agreement.
yeah,
My
those-
question would be just how do you enforce it? And you can look on the website, but then who's looking at the website to say that this, I mean,
Well, I'm not saying have someone look at the web, I'm just saying, is it something that we just know? Is it something that we want to do? I go on it quite a bit, to see. And so I'm not saying have somebody enforce it every second. I'm saying let's have an open discussion on if this is something that we want to happen.
Well, that's, I mean,
in
that's the
our
open
city.
discussion where
Yeah.
I'm trying to say, well, how will we regulate it? Do we want to put it into an ordinance? And so can
I
city
agree.
attorney?
Again, it's something that, like I said, it would be, if it's an issue that the city thinks they have enough of these that they would like for people to register and get a license to be able to rent their home out on a short term, because there are other sites too. There's VRBO, Airbnb, there's some other ones, Home
Classified
Away,
ads.
that, so, you know, I just don't know
I don't
that
think it's
we
a
have that
problem
many
now.
in the city that requires regulating it.
But thanks for putting it in my head.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a problem now, so I just want us to.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
All right.
That's just-
Anytime.
That was under legal interest.
Yeah.
City council, do you have any unfinished business or new business? Oh, no.
I'm gonna, on April, February 20th, there's a tentative meet the chief coffee hour. I'm just waiting on one other chief to say okay. That would be February 20th, and you know about that. And then in March, Women's History Month, we will be having a, in conjunction with Congresswoman Lawrence's office and Goldman Sachs, will be honoring and having a 4-hour training panel for women-owned businesses in the area. So there will be more information coming up on that. I'm really excited about that. So
Where is this going to be?
it's going to be held in Michigan first. We still have to put it together. I was talking to her office today, but
Wait, which one?
the
Which-
dates and I'm sorry.
Which one? Meet the chief or the?
Meet the Chief is going to be here on
Okay, all right.
February 20th. I'm waiting on one more confirmation.
Okay.
Okay?
And then
So I'm only
Are you
mentioning
holding
the
out?
women's businesses because it's
You
coming,
holding
and
out?
I want it to be out
Get a-
there that we're
get a
going to do
higher price?
something in March.
So the
Good for
women's
you.
one is going to be at Michigan first?
But it's going to be in the end of March. The
Okay.
date hasn't been set yet. So I'm looking forward to recognizing our women-owned businesses.
Okay.
You have anything? Anything?
Yeah, just actually, it's not that I have anything.
I'm sorry, were you finished?
Were you-
I am.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
I want to mention the city budget. I want to know if we are gearing up for that because we haven't really talked about how stressful that's going to be this month, February and March. So, how you feeling about that?
We'll work on it when I can.
Okay, we haven't mentioned it, so I figured I'd
That's
mention it
true.
today.
We just need to.
You need
develop-
anything from us?
I'm sure it
or-
won't be as
So-
troubling as last
Because
year.
we've got a lot going on in parallel. I figured we'd say something today and see.
So
where
what?
we-
We'll have to do a timetable.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. So do we want to start if,
Final approvals of a city budget must happen by when?
May,
May
Yeah.
what?
the council meeting in May.
yep.
So
Okay.
the actual council, so the 3rd, yeah.
So what are we doing leading up to that? Are we going to see a pre-budget like we did the 3 times or how? are we
I'm
gonna-
hoping if I can
We're
get
gonna-
to it, yes,
let's
you will
sit
see a
on it.
pre-budget.
So May 21st,
May 21st?
She'll get to it.
you would absolutely get to
She
it. I'm sure.
absolutely will get to it.
Everything else on my plate, I will try.
Believe it.
Okay. Do you have anything else?
Oh, actually, other things come off the plate because
Yeah,
the one on the budget is a requirement of law.
yeah.
It will be
You don't
good.
have a choice about that one.
I was
But
going
I
to
have to
say,
get the
but I was going to wait.
finances done
I
for the
know,
budget.
I understand that.
Yeah,
She'll
So, you
get
know.
to it. I'm sure she will.
that's all, that's why I'm bringing it up. That's
Can
all.
I ask,
Yeah,
what is that?
thank you.
Do you know about that redevelopment $25,000 grant? Did we get that? I've been meaning to ask this for 2 months. Can that redevelopment community where they give us $25,000 a grant, Ken,
Come up to the
MEDC.
podium.
Who are they?
MEDC, have you heard about that?
Not who is they.
MEDC. He thought he was finished.
City Council, Madam Chair. I don't know anything about what you're asking.
You
So
don't?
I
Okay.
don't have an answer for
I'm
you.
gonna pull my notes
But
out.
I
I've
will
been-
look into it. I'm
Okay.
not sure who they would be and
MEDC.
where it comes from. and-
MEDC.
Okay,
Okay,
all right.
thank you.
That's number 5. I will look into it, and I will hopefully get something to you before the next meeting.
Oh, that'd be great. Okay, I'm
Should I
done.
just stand here?
Probably.
Okay.
Only if you're going to
Because I had some things that I was, you know,
Only if
so
you're
you
going to
can.
adjourn the meeting.
Oh, one
So-
last thing, I'm sorry.
Sure, absolutely.
The,
I have
the,
nothing to do with
So, are we planning on having like a synchronization meeting between the DDA Council and Planning Commission and all the other?
Yeah.
That's what you said.
we- Did you say that?
Yeah.
She did.
I didn't hear that, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was like, what date was that?
I didn't have a date. It was just where I was saying that that's what, after everyone does the roles and responsibility, because it's us this Saturday, I
okay.
think we
I'm
just.
sorry. I did
it's
not hear
the
that part.
DDA is not until the 8th, and then the planning
Ninth.
commission, did you?
Planning Commission's tomorrow.
And so they do theirs
Right.
tomorrow.
Okay,
So everybody
okay.
has to do theirs
Okay,
first.
sorry, I didn't hear the date.
The ZBA actually is already scheduled.
That's us.
What is it, ZBA?
I know, it's us.
Yeah, that is us.
So all the commissions,
But
you
it's
know,
another, it's-
so we have to
it's-
do that
Under
first.
law, it's a separate group.
Right, well, okay.
Yeah,
And then we're gonna.
got it.
You got it?
I didn't hear that last part, apologize.
You sure?
Yes.
You good? Did you have
Heard
something?
it.
Yeah, I just wanted to
else.
encourage residents, Ken talked about the Inside Out program a little bit earlier, but we are taking suggestions for sites for the paintings, and if you have any suggestions,
My house, my house.
and it can be anywhere in the city, and just for.
Outside.
Yeah, outside.
I think it comes in my
But
house.
just forward those to customer service at lathropvillage.org. I was also going to give an update on the utility poles, which I've been working on for the last 2 months, but I finally got in touch with the right person, and he tells me that the project is done. So I drove around. I drove
there's-
around today.
There was one utility pole right on Roseland and
On Roseland?
Lathrop Boulevard.
All right, because he left me a message late last week, and I didn't call him back because I wanted to find out if there were still
Okay.
poles out there. And I put a message out on Villagers, and I was told that there was one on El Dorado, and I drove
There
to El
was
Dorado
one
today, and
there.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, I'll have to drive by there. It was there
yeah.
yesterday.
Okay. Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
go out
Okay.
there and
All right,
see
well,
if it's
I'll
there.
I'll call him back tomorrow. and
Okay.
Just verify
Yeah.
that. But.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's probably
Okay.
gone. That's it, thank you.
Do you have anything?
No.
Okay, so I do. Number 1, we have a opening for the DDA.
We do.
I'm sorry. So can you put something out? Well, just let everyone know that we do have an opening now. One of the DDA board members resigned. And
Are musicians qualified?
Only if they're going to play us in and play us out. You know.
Yes, exactly.
so,
Real estate, zoning, contract,
Pardon?
zoning, real estate, funds.
There you go.
so, okay, that went over my head, but we're gonna put something out on the website. We'll put something out on, what else? What else
Oh,
you
the
wanna say?
website,
That's all.
Facebook?
television, our television station, Facebook.
Facebook doesn't qualify anymore?
No, I don't think so.
Only if Facebook and the website connects.
No,
And
that's
so-
what I'm saying.
And I knew that's where you were
cities-
going, that's
No,
why I
the
didn't want
cities-
to go.
But our real need here,
I knew where you were
The
going.
city's
Not the
Facebook,
villages.
not,
the real need here
I
is
understand,
that
but I thought you were gonna go there about the
I'm
website.
not going
and the-
there.
Okay, just,
I am not.
I think some preference needs to be given that it's someone that's got a stake in the business.
Yes.
yes,
this time.
absolutely, that's where I was gonna go next. So
Got it.
that, is there anything else that you wanna talk about that's coming up this week?
Not that I can think of.
Pizza?
Oh,
Yes. Friday?
sure. Thanks for the reminder.
No problem.
Yes,
Friday is
o-
pizza day.
Open to the
Thursday.
community,
Thursday, sorry.
Friday,
Yes, you're right.
Thursday.
Thursday, January 25th from 11 to 1. Happy's Pizza is having a ribbon cutting, and they're inviting the community to come out for free pizza and free soft drinks and other snacks. Come on out, enjoy yourself, we'll take your picture. Big Scissors will be there, ribbon, nice little speech by the mayor.
There you go.
Didn't know that part, but okay. So, I'll get right on that one.
Probably 30 minutes is enough.
I'm thinking of maybe
30
an hour.
seconds, perhaps.
Okay.
And then anything else?
Not that I can think of.
Sure.
I'll take your cues.
No, I think you're good. I think that's all you wanted to say at this point. Tomorrow, Lathrop Village Community Foundation will have their first meeting. That will be at 6 o'clock also. And everyone else took all of my dates that we had to remember. Anyone else have anything? Of course you do.
We've got that doodle out there. No, the
Oh,
doodle.
yeah, and
the
that's,
doodle.
that's the other thing I want to
Yeah.
say, that coming soon, we will be taking the villager on the road. So we will be having a town hall villager, so it will be a structured meeting, but it's where you can bring your concerns, and you'll have the actual council people there. We have a doodle out there, which is basically where all of us will be able to log in to figure out what's the best date. I think it's sometime, April, when I looked last, it's April 14th is the date, that looks like?
14th and 28th.
Okay, so it's
Yeah,
gonna be,
yeah.
and I think it was morning, 9 to
9 to 11.
5.
11 to 11.
Okay.
What is it?
9 to
For
11.
what we're doing for like the town hall, which is the
Oh,
villager.
okay.
Taking the villager on the road.
It's not on there yet, but
No.
I think you responded.
Yes,
So-
you did. You did.
I did.
He did.
I think that was it. Was there anything else that
No,
I'm
I just
forgetting?
wanted to make sure we covered that.
21st, right?
Pardon
No,
me?
no.
21st,
Uh-uh.
April 21st?
No,
I haven't
no,
set
it's,
the date yet because I
there's
set
a-
out the doodle and I think I was waiting for one more response.
Okay,
Okay.
probably the girl talking.
Oh, okay. I'm like, I wasn't saying anything. Okay, so, thank you. If there's no further business, I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Good night, everyone.